Goodness gracious sakes alive, welcome back. Today we visit the Thomas Everard house in Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia. The house is open for tours Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The tour takes about 20 minutes. We kind of stumbled upon this house as we were walking down the street from the governor's palace. This nice volunteer stopped us and asked if we would like to take a tour, and of course we said yes. It is a very cute house, and I like it better than the palace. The colors are brighter in this house than in the palace, and we love bright, happy colors. The Everard property is home of 3 of the original buildings at Colonial Williamsburg. The house, kitchen, and smokehouse are all original. In total, there are 88 original buildings in Colonial Williamsburg. I will tell you as much history as I can as we walk through the house. The house was built in 1718 by John Brush. He was the first keeper of Williamsburg's magazine. Not a magazine like Better Homes and Gardens, a magazine where military arms and ammunition are stored. The house turned 300 years old last year. So a little history on Thomas Everard. In 1729, when Thomas was 10 years old, he lost his father and became an orphan. I read that the whereabouts of his mother were never recorded, but at the time, a child was considered an orphan if the father died, regardless of whether the mother was still alive or not. Thomas entered a school for poor and orphan children called Christ's Hospital. In 1734, Everard was discharged from Christ Hospital in the care of his uncle, Edward Everard, and a London merchant. He was to be an apprentice to Matthew Kemp, a merchant in Williamsburg, for a period of 7 years. Within a year of completing his apprenticeship, Kemp died, and Thomas was then the apprentice for the clerk secretary of the entire colony. He also received his first public appointment, clerk of the Elizabeth City County Court. As a clerk, he met and worked for many well-known people like Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry, and George Washington, not to mention the royalty on the English side. He resigned after 3 years as clerk of the Elizabeth City County Court because clerkship of the York County Court in the capital city was available. The governor appointed him, and Thomas bought this house in the mid-1750s. He went from being an orphan to owning a house right next to the governor's palace. In Colonial Williamsburg, there were different social classes. Sadly, slavery existed in all British colonies. The social classes were as follows: slaves, free blacks, farmers, middling, which was a sort of middle class, and gentry. Gentry were the upper class of colonial society. They were the large landowners, very wealthy merchants and financiers. They owned huge tracts of land and usually many slaves. Gentry could only socialize with gentry. Thomas Everard was not gentry. He was more of a middling, even though he owned 2 plantations. He married into money, and his wife's family had land, but she wasn't gentry either. They also had 2 daughters. While he couldn't socialize with the gentry class, he tried to live as if he were gentry. He decorated and set up his home in the way that they would, and a beautiful home it is. For more than 3 decades in the 18th century, Thomas Everard signed his name to many important documents of the day, from deeds to probate wills, as the York County Clerk of Court. He also served as mayor of Williamsburg for 2 one-year terms, once in 1766, the other in 1771. He also served as a vestryman for Bruton Parish Church. So that's our brief overview of Thomas Everard and this lovely old home. We hope you liked our condensed version of the tour. Don't forget to visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, click our icon at the end of this video to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click the little bell to get notifications of new videos. Until next time, safe travels.